The one-stop border post bill, which aims to harmonise the movement of people and goods between South Africa's land ports of entry and neighbouring countries, is now open for public comment. It's not the only one. You can also have your say on the National Identification and Registration Bill. And you can write to the DG of Home Affairs, or you can go to the dha.gov.za site for more details. Let's find out what's at stake. Let's talk to Home Affairs Minister, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi. Good evening, Minister, and thanks for your time. These bills have big objectives to cover, and the main aim or objectives of the OSBP, the border bill, is to make congestion at the ports of entry a thing of the past. Just share with us what plans are afoot to make this a reality.
Good evening, and good evening to the listeners and the viewers. You're asking about the time frames.
I'm talking about to make them, of course it's going to go for public comment, and that might change the shape of it. But in the main, how do you get it done? The smoothing and getting rid of the congestion at the border post. Just share with us some of the ideas that are on the table as part of this bill.
Oh yes, let me come with a concept. The concept of one-stop border post is because if you go to the borders now, you get processed twice. If you cross the border, the South African side will process you. It doesn't matter how many hours they take. But when you cross to the other side of the border, the country you are entering will also process you, and they may take a long time. That in itself wastes a lot of time and causes queues at the borders. Now, the concept of one-stop post is that you get processed only once. And there are three models that are followed. The first one is one country model, whereby one country doesn't have anything at the border. All the buildings are on the other side, on the other country, and the workers from both countries sit in there and process you once you pass. The second one is called straddle method, where you put the building right on top of the border. But that one won't work in borders like Bay Bridge, where the border is a river, or in Maseru, where the border is the Carleton River. You can't put a building there. The third one, which proved to be popular with South Africa and all the neighboring countries, is called juxtaposed model, whereby you have got buildings on both sides, but you still get processed once. When you cross into the other country, South Africa doesn't process you at all. You cross and then you get processed on the other country. You also find South Africans there. When you come back, the other country doesn't process you at all. They allow you free passage. You get processed on the South African side, which is the country you are entering, but workers from both countries will be there, and then you pass.
Yeah.
So that's one-stop border post, but it won't work, Iman, without massive injection of infrastructure and new technology, which is exactly what we are going to do. On our side in South Africa, in the 6 busiest ports of entry, Bay Bridge with Zimbabwe, Lebombo with Mozambique, Oshhoek with Eswatini, Maseru Bridge and Fixback with Lesotho, and lastly, Kopfontein with Botswana. We are all going to put up massive injection of infrastructure, a big facelift for about 6 billion rand in the form of a PPP. We are just waiting for Treasury to give us a go-ahead to go out in the market and do what is called request for proposals, and hear which companies are interested.
Wow, okay. So basically what you're saying is the receiving country, this is in the juxtaposed model you were talking about, would be the one for processing the passage of goods and people over the relevant border posts. Let's come to the amount of money that's needed for the realization of all of this, Dr. Motsoaledi. You talked about those 6 border posts across all of those countries that border our country. Is there a shared model of those costs, or if we're using the model, this last juxtaposed model that you were putting forward?
We believe the facelift that is needed in form of infrastructure and technology is in the vicinity of 6 billion rand for the 6 border posts on our side. As to what the other countries are spending on their side, I don't know about that. I'm not sure about the figures. But on our side, we have estimated 6 billion.
All right, and this is assuming, of course, that this is the model that is favoured. You said already there seemed to be a lot of support for this particular model.
Yes,
and then it goes to
the juxtaposed model.
Yeah, so then it would go to a public tender process and so on. But this modernization, talk to us about the technology and just some of the 4IR technology that you'd be using as part of what essentially is a modernizing effort.
Well, first of all, the technology to go through, Iman, if you go to the Bombo border post in Komati, you are going to meet with a 20-kilometer queue of trucks because the mining companies have decided in Northwest, Mpumalanga and Limpopo, they've decided that they are no longer taking their produce to Richards Bay. They are using Maputo Harbour. But now on our side, I'm sure you are aware, SARS is very much modernized. It's automated most of the time. But now when the trucks arrive there, having been processed by SARS in their automation, when they arrive in Mozambique, there's not yet applied technology there. They are doing things manually. And so the trucks are forced to wait. And that's why there are long queues there. Now, once the one-stop border post has been completed, there will be technology. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you are aware that cars are stolen, hidden in whatever way, and they are counterfeit goods which are smuggled in and out. But in the new technologies, when we do the one-stop border post facelift of infrastructure, we are going to make sure that there are inbuilt X-rays. For instance, a truck will drive through an inbuilt X-ray machine, which will pick up everything. In fact, we are already behind because many countries have gone beyond the stage of X-ray. They are using gamma rays that can even pick up money, cash, in the form of, paper money. It can pick it up, it can pick alcohol, it can pick cigarettes. But we are also going to use drones for those people who will be skipping the fence next to the border.
All right, so this is, panacea then, what you're saying, Dr. Motsoaledi, for all our illnesses when it comes to some of the problems, at the border post with them being, and this is an accepted reality, being porous, with a number of undocumented or people being able to cross freely. Just as a final question, this is now open for public comment along with the National Identification and Registration Bill. I wish we had time to talk about that, but we don't. Where can the public have their say, and what is the time frame then, given the need for the public to comment, for this to kind of go back and be ready for a perusal around approval?
Well, the Cabinet has passed it to go out for public comment. But we need a few touches here and there. So we will release that next week. And when we release it, we'll put the time period there. We are still going to decide. Sometimes public comment needs 1 month, other times it needs 3 months. It will depend. The one-stop border post is really a straightforward bill. We don't think there are going to be lots of problems, and we don't think it will need more than 1 month. The one that might need a little bit of more time is the identification bill because it has got some complexities which members of the public might be interested in.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you for talking to us, Home Affairs Minister Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi.